We're moving a mile a minute. Let's go.
I can never sleep, I don't got too many days. Food for thought, feeding your success with the base. I can't quit the game, gotta focus till I finish. I was in the cage, now I know I'm living. They be working hard, trying to keep you in the chains. If you got your mind charged, you ain't gotta stay. Woo!
This is the Sam Jones Talk podcast. This is episode 9, Break Your Rope. What do I mean by that? So glad you asked. So if you've seen any of my posts about the elephant, then you know where this story is going. If not, strap in. Here we go. So the circus elephant doesn't start off as a circus elephant. It's an elephant. And the elephant is a baby. And this baby wants to roam and be free. But the owner of the elephant, or the person who catches the elephant, puts a rope around the elephant's neck, takes a spike and drives the spike into the ground. That rope and that spike keeps the elephant from wandering off, because now the elephant is not just a free elephant roaming, it's an investment. He wants to keep his investment stable and close. So as time grows, the elephant goes from being, a couple pounds to 3-4 tons, 6 feet tall or greater. It can kick in the side of a building and flip a car. But if you take the same exact rope from when it was a baby and tie that rope around its neck and use the same spike into the ground, that elephant that now weighs almost what a car weighs will not move. And the reason the elephant doesn't move is because it remembers all its failed attempts in the past, and it remembers the constraints of its past. Now, the elephant, especially the female elephant, is known to have an incredible memory. So in essence, what's great about an elephant is also its very enemy, and that's its memory. And so what I want to tell you, similar to the elephant, is that you are not the same person you were before your challenge. You're not the same person you were before the trauma, or during the trauma, or during that relationship. You're bigger now. Now, it may take a shift in perspective for you to see that, because you may still feel the sting of those problems, those issues, those addictions, and the things that you experienced in the past. But if you made it through, if you're on the other side of that thing, you're stronger, you're bigger. So in essence, you're stronger than your constraints and you're bigger than your boundaries, but you have to shift your thinking. You can break your rope. Some of us are just like that elephant. We remember the past situations. We remember hearing that we're dumb and we can't make it. We're not smart. You'll be just like your mother. You'll be just like your dad. Whatever it was in the past, whatever that rope is, whatever it represents. And we have that rope around our neck, but little do you know, if you would just shift your perspective and realize you're so much bigger and better, you're so much smarter now, you can break the rope. It's a decision. So decide to do so. If you slap an elephant when it's a baby, it can be 30, 40 years later. It's going to remember that slap and you're going to have a problem on your hand. So their memory is incredible. But again, the thing that makes them unique and incredible, which is their incredible memory, also locks them into a circle. And it creates a problem. And I mentioned to you a few things in the other podcast about the hippocampus. And it's a beautiful thing, but for some of us it could be challenging. Now, the hippocampus is the part of the brain that connects your memories with your emotions. So that's the summer day that was warm and 70 degrees. Your mom was baking a pie. You remember the smell of the pie. So every time you hear, Biggie playing, that's my age showing. You remember that day because I was playing in the back room. You remember the weather and you remember the pie. It's your hippocampus that takes all those different emotions and your senses, and it kind of puts them together to lock that memory in. And the challenge that could be for some of us is that we have those memories locked in. Remember how it felt, remember the sting of it, remember the tears, and now we feel like we can't move forward. that one situation or a combination of negative situations makes us feel like we can't do it. What could even be worse is some of us could be bound by ropes that we don't see or think of, but we have them subconsciously. We have subconscious ropes where we're not thinking of, but something that we can't put our finger on is stopping us from moving forward. And sometimes you can get to that subconscious rope by probing, and you find it and say, hey, wait, that's what it is. And then other times you can't put your finger on it. You just know, I've got to overcome. I don't know what this is. I can't figure what it is that's stopping me, but this rope has got to break. I feel something in my heart that's pushing me like I'm capable of great things, but I can't get beyond this thing. Well, whatever it is, it has to die. If it's me or it, it's it. I've got to move forward. I've got to break this rope. Whether it's visible, invisible, subconscious, or conscious, I'm stepping over this thing because I got to reach my goal. That's good stuff if you ask me. So another thing about a rope is that any rope that's good at all at holding something together or holding weight has its value based on its strands. A rope isn't a single piece of anything. A rope is several strands kind of plaited together, and that's what makes a rope, or twisted together. Several strands. If you look at a rope, there's several strands in there that creates the strength. And for some of us, like I said, it's multiple things that are in that rope. It might be trauma, abuse, molestation, all kind of things that the combination of those strands make the rope just a little bit stronger to break. But what I want to tell you today is it doesn't matter how many strands are in that rope. You have the ability to break the rope. Now you're probably thinking, man, you could say that all day, but I know how this feels. I feel this pressure on me. I feel like I can't do it. I know you feel like, but it's a feeling. You can overcome the feeling. Maybe you may need to go and sit down with a therapist. Maybe there's some things you got to learn from a coping perspective, some mechanisms you need to deal with those things. But they can be dealt with. You can overcome this situation. You can beat it. You can break the rope. Don't feel like you're hopeless. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep fighting. Go down swinging. Have that mentality. Every winner, every champion knows that feeling of that shakiness in your gut, not being sure if you can, but you're so driven to reach the finish line that you're gonna run on broken legs if you have to, because you've got to get there. And if that's your mentality, you can beat that thing. You may need some help along the way, but you can bust every strand of that rope, break the rope, and you can be free. I said enough. I think I said all I can in this moment. We're definitely going to talk more about this. I'm going to bring on guests. I'm going to bring on therapists, probably a psychologist. And we're not going to get too technical, but I want you to know that whatever the challenges that you're experiencing in your mind, you can overcome it. You can beat this thing. There is a other side of this. There's a way to come through the storm. You may not be unscathed. You may have some bruises and some bumps along the way. You may get hurt. You may have some issues that you got to fight with or contend with, but you can overcome. Have hope. Know that you can and you will, and push. I feel good about that. Break your rope. Move forward and reach for the highest good. Go for it.